Welcome to the table. How are you?
I'm good.
And I want to say thank you for braving the elements all the way from the Glades to be here with us this evening. So how are you, Queen?
I'm good. Thank God.
Doing
I'm
good.
here.
Yes. Busy?
I'm here. Busy.
What do you do? What is your profession over in the Glades? How are you helping?
I work with the physicians out. I work with, my title is a clinical data specialist, and I mainly work with preparing like the evaluations for the physicians.
Okay.
Just to make sure they're, I don't say credential, but to make sure they're staying abreast of what, staying abreast of the requirements, yes.
Okay, all right. So you're the one that monitoring stuff.
I'll say I'm more of a gatherer. I gather the information, help put everything together for their evaluations.
Very important job. Okay. All right. So 5 and 5. And we've kind of been expressing this with every survivor, but the vision was 5 cancer survivors. We did emphasize breast cancer, but any cancer was applicable here, nature of it, and also domestic violence and abuse. So I had an opportunity to meet you. You just look so forward, your precious self. Put yourself right on out there, and you ended up a part of our Halo Effect brunch. And you were just amazing inside of the environment, so much so that you made it to the platform. And you ended up speaking that day. So that's a testament to being ready whenever, because you never know when God's going to use you. So let us get to know you. I know you a little bit, but you kind of, you don't put too much out there. You put up what you want people to know. So share with us today about you, family, whatever you want to share.
I'll start where I'm married. I'll say I'm married now with 4 children. Okay. And, prior to that, I just experienced, as most of us have experienced, childhood traumas that you really don't get over until you become an adult, some of us.
Yes.
And, during that time, experiencing those traumas and just dealing with, childhood issues that led me to being in an abusive relationship in my teens. From age of 14 to 17.
Wow.
So that's where, the sexual abuse, happened. And,
yes.
Some physical abuse, but more mental.
Okay.
So that's where, my journey, began. And I don't...
Why did you feel you were open at such a young age to that?
To be honest, not having those the parental guide, that parental security.
Okay.
Not having those parents there, because both my parents were drug addicts, my mom and my father.
Okay.
And they did not raise me. So my grandmother took care of me, staying with the older person who really just there to really provide your needs,
yes.
make sure you go to church.
Yes.
They're not worried about anything that's going on. I don't want to say worried, but they just don't understand.
Yes.
The world at that time was going on outside of their home.
Very different from when they grew
Very
up
different.
And all of that.
So yes,
So it left you open.
Yes, it left me open, and I think it was that void too of not having that father figure.
Yes.
The guy, that I was involved with, was more like a father figure because he was an older guy.
Wow.
Just having something to fill that void.
Yes.
And I didn't know at the time that wasn't the
very
thing to
innocent,
do.
yes.
Very innocent, yes. Didn't understand.
But we can say now. And be very clear that you were violated.
Yes.
Yes. He should have never. Even if you didn't know, he knew.
I can't. I can't really.
But do you feel like he was so young?
No,
as well?
I really can't blame him only. I also got to look into the fact that my family allowed it to.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I just can't say it was him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just not having that family to really step in, to really say, you know what, this is wrong. Because it was normal.
Out.
It was a norm. No one really said anything like, you know what, this is wrong. We need to do something.
Gotcha.
It was more of a, oh, she's gonna do it anyway, so just let her do it type thing.
At least we know. I heard that said, I'd rather them do it here in the house where I can see it, and I'm like, wow. So we having like doing everything.
Yes.
As long as you're doing it here, you're okay.
No, that's not the mindset to have. I know I wouldn't have it for my kids.
I was going to say, certainly now as a parent, I'm sure you don't
Yes,
see
I don't. Yes, a lot of the things that, and you know, I want people to understand.
Yes.
That was just something I've gone through. I'm not a victim.
Yes.
You know, I really thank God that I've gone through that, because that gave me so much insight and information and wisdom to help me, you know, help my children when they go through their, I know they won't be going through the same thing, hopefully, but
Yes.
when they go through something, I have now a more of an understanding.
Absolutely.
You know, so, you know, I don't want to, you know, glorify the abuse,
Yes.
you know, because I'm not a victim. I don't have a victim
I
mentality.
love that. And you're also teaching people, or you're able to
Yes.
help navigate what you didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And now you can be more effective in that way.
Yes.
Wow. That's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you wrote about it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your book.
My book is called Broken But Not Destroyed, Piecing Her Together. And the book came because I felt like I was not sharing my story. I felt like I was holding, you know, what happened to me in.
Yes.
Not really expressing myself. And I think that the first step to healing is admitting. Because I didn't realize I was abused until I was 23.
Wow. How did you come into that awakening?
I didn't realize, because I came into that awareness because I kept having the same issues. And I was married by this time, too.
Okay.
And I kept having the same issues. Like, I kept going around the same circle. Oh, it was like I was going around like the children of Jericho, going around the wall, like, where I was going around the same thing, like the same cycles every year at the same time.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? I really need to go back and see why I'm doing this. I didn't get therapy. I would advise people to get therapy.
Absolutely.
But my journey, I didn't get any therapy, which I should have. I didn't know and understand the importance of it, because, you know, we got that stigma. Black people don't do therapy.
Right.
Thank
God we're shaking that off.
Yeah, so I wish at the time I would have known, you know, to get some assistance. But to be honest, it was me and God, me and the Holy Spirit, that He delivered me Himself.
Wow.
Right? So I first had to come to grips and say, you know what, I was abused. I was violated.
Yes.
Because it was normal in my infinite thinking, like as a young person, it was normal because no one said anything. That's just like touching the stove. And if you don't say, oh, that stove is hot, you don't think nothing is wrong with it. You know, so with my surroundings, no one really fired the alarm. You know, you have people that talk and say, oh, you know, she's grown, she's fast, she this and that.
Right.
But no one really sat and talked and said, you know what, this was wrong.
And we just spoke about this recently in another series, that my dysfunction is not dysfunctional to me until I gain that awareness. So for you to come and say I'm dysfunctional, I'm looking at you like, what you talking about?
Yes.
I've done this all my life this way. I've been this way all my life. So no, you're dysfunctional. Why are you over there doing all that extra positive praying and you know, going to church? It don't take all that.
Yep, that's true.
Until you gain the awareness and understanding.
And so at the age of 23, when I was going through, you know, my dysfunction and my cycles, it wasn't until I had that, I came to that, you know, terms that I was abused. Like, it was like it hit me like, that was wrong, you know? No one said, I was angry. I went through all the frustrations. I wanted to kill the person.
Wow.
I just went through this whole, I was angry.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's why I can't move
Justify
forward. Because
yourself.
I'm like, I didn't deal with the issue.
And you got to
I was taking advantage
undo
of.
all of this now.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what I had to do, and what God spoke to me in my heart at that time, He told me I had to forgive the guy. And I said, you know what? The devil is a lie. I ain't forgiving nobody. If anything, I'm going to give him something.
Right,
it won't be a forgiveness. It'll be a bullet or something. I'll be honest.
Yes.
But he said I had to forgive him. And I really didn't want to.
Yes.
But the thing about forgiveness is a spiritual thing.
It is.
You can't do it in the natural.
It is.
You know what I mean? I know some people think that it's hard to do. And it probably is if you're trying to do it naturally.
Because it's a battle.
Yes, it is.
It's a battle, and that's why you have to get out of the natural self. There's nothing natural about somebody who's literally destroyed your life. I said that about the date rape that I endured. Hate was there, and it was deeply rooted. There's no way to get around it. But when I learned that forgiveness was for me,
Yes.
oh man, I dived in head first.
Yes.
So it took the concept of him having more control because I'm forgiving him to, okay, I'm doing this for me. And that left it is something that I really gravitated to. But you're right. To even learn the art, we did a whole event on forgiveness. And it's a spiritual essence to it. It's not something you could just say, oh, okay, I forgive you. It's not how it works. So how did you get to forgiveness?
To be honest, I prayed, and I had to seek God seriously. Yes. This is not some religious jargon I'm saying. Yes. I really had to, because people don't understand, when you're traumatized at a certain age, certain parts of your mind stay in that trauma.
Yes.
I think they call it arrested development. Some certain part of you stay in that little girl stage.
And that's why it surfaces at different points. Yes. Because you are that, and a lot of times you have protected yourself by not dealing with the trauma.
Yes.
And by not seeing it for what it truly is. So that's absolutely correct.
Yes. So I noticed that, some of my behaviors, and that's why I say my deliverance was God. He delivered me because I didn't have a therapist. And it's not something to brag about, but
I like that you're now educating people properly because you know better.
I had to walk this journey because I had to deal with me. And a lot of things that came out of the abuse was lack of, like I couldn't stand up for myself. I allowed people to run over me. I was indecisive, in my, decision making. I always was ambitious and wanted to do more things, and I accomplished a lot of things during that time, but still there was still a void. So many other things came out of, me not dealing with the abuse. But it wasn't until I said, you know what, Lord? Like he told me, I had to forgive him.
Yes.
And not only did I have to forgive him, and I don't want to make it all about him because I really want to glorify God and how he delivered me.
Yes.
I had to pray for him. And I still haven't forgave him. I was still married at the time.
Okay.
So just imagine, my issues, my husband. I'm
Absolutely.
Still probably taking some of the stuff out on him because I didn't deal with myself. So I got married broken.
But the inner child in you really had to heal.
Yes.
So that was the adult woman is one facet of it, but now the inner child has to heal. So those two can now conjoin and reconcile everything that was disconnected.
There was a lot disconnected too.
Wow.
So much. That was a lot. Yeah.
So now that you're a mother, what do you see differently, or what is your education to the people about the young child who goes through abuse, circumstantial and all of this, but now you're charged, you're the gatekeeper for other lives. What is your message?
My message, especially for my own children, I try to be very cognizant of like who I allow them around. I'm more aware. I try not to be paranoid, but I'm aware of who's around them and how, they're reacting, with interacting with other people. I'm always making sure that even in the school system, I'm always making sure that I have conversations with them, because you have to have those conversations, because kids don't understand in their little innocent mind, they don't understand when they're being violated.
Yes.
They just know somebody's doing something to them that may not feel good, or that's, that just seems weird.
But that is wrong.
Yes.
It's huge to make that connection that it's not right.
Yes. And it's really, for kids, it's really something they don't really grasp. So for me, with my children, I just always used to have little conversations with them that was appropriate.
Okay.
For them, like, make sure no one touches you here. If somebody does this to you, come tell me.
We're using the language. I caution people, pocketbook and all this. No, we
private
we're teaching our children the reality of such. So if somebody does talk to you, or somebody does violate you, you're not going around telling somebody mess with my pocketbook. Somebody would think it's like your little purse or something. So we really have to be very clear, but in a tasteful way, like you said. So we honor your survival, and we want you to look in the camera. And for those who may be sitting in the throes of an abusive relationship, no matter what it is, because we know verbal can be far worse and emotional than the physical. financial, social, any aspect of it. What would your message be to them today as a survivor?
My message would be to tell someone. Try not to hold your what you're going through in. Try not to hold it in. Don't be ashamed of your story, because I think one thing that the enemy wants you to do is just to be silent, and he wants you to not share because of the shame and the pain you feel. But the first step to healing is to confess. Let someone know, because it frees you. You know, when people think that you're trying to hide something, or they know something that you don't want someone to know, they kind of dangle that over your head. But when you confess yourself, when you share your own story and tell your story, they no longer control you.
It's liberating.
So you have to take back control into your own hands. And that's what I've done. Because sometimes people want to say, you know, you've been through this, you did that. So I wrote Broken But Not Destroyed, Piecing Her Together, because I wanted to share my own story. You don't get the power to hold the pen. I'm holding the pen to my own story.
That's powerful.
So this is my story. I'm the author of my story, so I get to choose how it will be written.
And the chapters thereafter.
And the chapters thereafter.
And how did we find your book?
It is on Amazon. It's on Amazon. It's also on Barnes and Nobles. I think it's on a digital copy in Barnes and Nobles.
You have your website?
I don't have my website for my book no longer, but you can find me on Facebook. I am there, Monique McCray Jackson.
Yes.
On Facebook, and you can reach out to me there. But
and you're a jewelry designer now? Woo-woo.
Oh yes, I design jewelry.
And tell us a little bit about your boutique.
I make earrings, handmade earrings. It's called Nikki Pika Designs, and you can find me on Facebook as well. And I also have an Etsy shop where I make handmade earrings, wooden earrings out of fabric. And it's just something to keep me busy for now, since we've been in quarantine.
And I love how you just took on the desire, you researched, and you went out there. I purchased, and your jewelry is beautiful. So,
thank you.
May God continue to bless you. We love the way you survive, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
I started listening to my praise and worship music, put my earbuds in, and I would then have a peaceful night's rest. And at that point I knew that, you know, I couldn't do this by myself. And I needed, you know, to have God there with me. God has been with me through a lot, but this time, it was like, whoa, I need you, God. I really need you. And with that being said, the next time I cried, remember I said I cried the day I found out. The nurses had told me at my first chemo treatment that I would probably lose my hair by the 14th day. And on the 14th day, I decided to take out my weave, because I wear a weave. And lo and behold, it's just there on the counter. I cried, and my husband said, I never see your hair anyway, so it doesn't matter. You're still beautiful, you know. It doesn't matter. And I was like, but you don't understand. It's my hair, and now I know it's gone. So I had to really deal with that and get a grip on that, because that was like the first depression stage I went through. But I made up in my mind that I wasn't going to cry again. I was going to push forward and depend on God through every step of the way. The next time I went to go have chemo, out of the blue, I just was walking around in my house and out of nowhere, didn't have any warning signs or anything. And nausea hit, and you know the rest. It was all over the floor. So, just out the blue, the loss of taste in my mouth. They're talking about COVID now with losing your sense of taste and smell. Well, been there, still do that now. I lose my taste buds, and my last chemo treatment was October 1st of 2019. And as of this year, I have been treatment free for a year. However, I still lose my sense of taste, smell, and with chemotherapy, it pushes you, for women, of course, it pushes you into menopause. And that was something else that I had to deal with because I hadn't had a menstrual cycle in years. And lo and behold, I was like, hello, I'm back. And I was like, no, no. Those are some of the things that I went through. The pain and going to that chemotherapy room with the other chemotherapy patients. You make friends. People remember you and say, hey, I see you're here again too, But it is sort of like a community where you depend on the other folks to talk to, as well as learn other things that you can get involved in, such as support groups. I found the support groups to be a great resource and a great outlet for me, because what you find is your family, although they're being there for you and they're your biggest supporters and they're rooting you on, but sometimes they just don't understand what you're feeling and what you're going through at that time. And you need that outlet with other people that are going through the same things that you are. So for anyone that find themselves going through anything, not just breast cancer, but anything, you need to find that support that you can lean on and share ideals and talk about what you're going through. It's a great help. It is a great help. The first time I went to the support group, I cried. And that had been after a long time of not crying. And it seemed like it just all came to a head and came out. And, there are things that us as women, you're in a relationship or you're married, there's things that happen to us. And physically, let's just, I want to be very real with you that those things that happen physically takes a toll, not just on you, but everybody else, your partner, and you've got to make sure they understand, and they, it's not something that you are just putting off, but you are actually going through this, and for them to hang on in there with you. But I would tell anybody, please, please, please do not go through this by yourself. Whatever it is, get you a support group, your family and friends. I found it great that I started my journey page on Facebook. Just the words of encouragement encouragement, that where people would say, you got this. You know, if I was feeling down that day, I would just go through and read that, and I would get that build up and say, okay, push forward. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go drink my water, because I was a bad person at not drinking my water like I should. And because I had no taste and I just wanted nothing. But, going through chemo, you must hydrate. And that's one of the major things. If you're not a person of drinking water, you will definitely start. Whatever you got to do, add some flavor to that water or something. Get the water down. Even now, without being through any type of treatment, we all need to hydrate as much as possible. But it became very clear to me that I needed to do that when I was going through my chemo treatment. After effects, now that I've been a year out of treatment as far as infusion with chemo, I am still on one pill, which is called tamoxifen. Has horrible side effects of hot flashes, body aches, hair loss still, my hair is growing back, however it is very thin, but the doctors have told me that I do need to be on this pill for 5 years. So it is a pill that blocks estrogen, because my cancer was driven by estrogen, and therefore I was HER2 positive. So this pill is to block estrogen from building up in my breast, the estrogen in your breast, so that the breast cancer doesn't come back. But God has it all in control, and God has been surely totally faithful. His word is true, and it is just, and I stand and believe on it. And if anything else that you don't get out of this message is, please, especially if you're a woman, please go get checked. Get your mammograms. If you've never had one, get your mammogram done. If you are a man and you find a lump, go get checked, because men can get it too. Men can have breast cancer as well. I encourage you to stay faithful. Believe that God is faithful, and He carries us through any journey to the other side, that where we see the light and we can move forward and go beyond our wildest dreams. For me, I took 6 months off of work while I was going through treatment and the surgery. I went back to work as of last April of 2019. November of 2019, I became a manager at my job. And I was like, me, that the person right now that still suffers from memory loss. But God is faithful, and He promotes His children. And I believe that, and I stand on that. And again, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to speak to you regarding my journey. God bless. Good night.
We would like to thank our sponsors. The House of Love Illionaires. Coretta Talbot, Coretta Speaks Life. Harris Boys Photography.
Three Black Beauty Boutique offers you the finest in African soaps that exfoliate, heals, and promotes healthy skin. For healthy hair that is moisturized and conditioned, we offer the best in shampoos, conditioners, and oils. Body oils that make you smell refreshed, bold, and sensual. Check out our page and contact us today for your order.
Young men of distinction.
Belle P, who's filming for me.
Just finished my photo shoot with Belle P Entertainment, and I am so pleased with Belle P Production.
You're doing it with Belle P Entertainment.
Prepping for school and the next life and everything that you're going to do. So that has to be very exciting.
It is.
Okay. What about advocacy for the cause? Because I see you doing something, because this is not common.
Right. It's not common. And I want to. I just don't know where to start. Or I thought about, maybe doing a blog or a vlog and, just talking about ovarian cancer.
Yes.
In general, and even maybe, because this is actually the first time I've actually talked about it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I can't see myself doing more.
I was going to say, because you all into this, so I can definitely pray about it.
Yes.
And I want to say, let God lead you so it's the right way.
Yes.
It's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
Pray about it. But I can certainly see where it's an exchange with people. I see people asking you questions.
Mm-hmm.
So the education piece is critical
Yes.
and essential for you, and you have that. But just your easy way. So let there be a testament
Yes.
that people, let's leave people alone. How about that, Kadora?
Yes.
Because we don't know what people going through.
Exactly.
Stop messing with people.
Exactly.
And let's support and help each
Yes,
other.
yes.
But you also said something that makes sense. Families show up for each other.
Mm-hmm.
But we also got to tell people what's going on.
You're right.
So that's the balance that comes
Uh-huh.
along with it. So I want you to look in that camera. And in closing, I want you to leave words from your heart to bless the people.
I just want to say to always pay attention to yourself. Always speak up. You have a voice, use it. And don't take no for an answer. If you have to get the second opinion, third opinion, fourth opinion, don't be ashamed. Do it, because it's your body and it's your voice. Use it so you can survive too.
I love that. And to not just take anyone's word for it. Because out of all of these interviews today, what I've heard the most is that sometimes it's not the same advice.
Mm.
Sometimes it's not the same guidance when you have one physician who said this, and you turn a corner and have another physician who says this.
Mm-hmm.
So if we take the first one, we might be slighting ourselves from many other options and challenges.
Yes.
So I am that one.
Mm-hmm.
That I like a certain second and third opinion. To not just go with the first,
Mm-hmm.
but to become educated.
Yes.
You're using the terminology and everything else, so you educated, sister. You made sure you learned about this.
Yes.
Because I heard you use the acronym before, and I'm like, wait a minute, I had to go do my research. But that's how we learn and that's how we grow.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God for your survival. Thank you for honoring us, and just know that I saw that in you. And I'm confirming what you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's what you're going to do with it.
Right.
Because there's so much greater purpose and plans for your life. So don't become comfortable. And I also want you to emphasize, see how I post on social media, you may or may not know, it's time to talk. It's time to communicate those difficult conversations. Because not only are we opening a gateway for relationships and being a relational, but we saving lives out here.
Right.
That's huge when you save somebody's life.
Yeah.
So thank you. And God bless you.
The Legion.
So what was it for you that helped you cope and get through this?
Grace of God. I mean, just keeping my faith
Yes,
because.
But you remember I spoke those words
Yes.
to you in your house?
Yes.
I said, Paula, God is going to, he showed me, he sent me to you. Because I felt in my spirit, you needed to hear that you were not going to die.
And that's the first thought you get.
Yes.
I don't care who you are, what you know. That's the first thing I heard. All I heard was die. I didn't hear nothing about, we're going to give me a treatment and do this and do that. You know, I didn't hear any of that. And then people say to me, well, what was it like for you physically? Wow. If you can make it through that, then you good. I can see why people just sit down and just really
Just
die
let it go.
and just let it go. But I was like,
I'm going to fight.
I'm coming home. I just come home and I knew what to do a day or two, and then I'm up and about or whatever.
So
But
not to overexert yourself.
right, yep.
And for the people who loved and respected when you needed to draw back.
Yeah.
Because I know you were 10 toes down for us. Always there. But I just knew in that season, I love this young lady right on through this thing and everything that she's done. Now it's time for us to show up for Paula.
And they did.
Oh, girl.
Oh, gosh. They still do.
We reverse some roles. We
Yes.
gotta realize that somebody who's always been there for you, you can't have the same level of expectation.
Right.
And why would I have a problem with you when you over here trying to live?
I lost a lot of friends though. I lost a lot of friends.
Why? Do we not even put energy into that? Because I don't think it's worth it. Because if you lost people because you were trying to live, those are not truly friends. And we have to put that into perspective of what it really is. So let's just say for survivorship, because also a piece of what I told you as well was your environment. I'll never forget it. Because God said if you don't have the right people in the right places, it's not going to work. You got to have the right people. So you were very good at that. And I think God systematically moved some of the stuff you probably wouldn't move.
Yep.
You know, because we don't like to hurt people. We don't like to offend people. But God comes through. Get up. Go. Not you no more. This is done. You be like, Lord, but.
We should go with what feels good too and what's comfortable.
And not understanding. And we also pray. And I had to learn how to pray and get out of God's way.
Yeah.
Because I would pray, God, protect me. God, do this. And then I'm all in the way. Or when he tries to move something, I'm trying to fix it. Or I'm trying to get it to stay and package it out.
Yes.
And God was
people.
trying to say, well, what you need me for? What you want me to do?
Yes.
So that's amazing.
Yes.
So full circle. Cakes, etc. Let's talk about it.
Well, we kept it under wraps with nobody. We didn't discuss it with anybody but our business, like money people.
Yes.
So Monique and I have been together for almost 4 years now.
Okay.
One day I put a post on Facebook and I said, I just want to bake. I don't want to decorate. And anybody interested or something like that. I'm hoping I can find it. And she responded.
Wow.
So since that day, I've been baking for her, and she creates all of the cakes. So then somebody called me, and they was like, hey, you know, the store is on for sale. I was like, well, I'm going to get some, and I don't got no job. I don't got nothing. So I was like, oh, man, what are we going to do? And I called her, and I was like, they said something about this. So she went and looked into it. And I was just like, first I was just gonna be working there.
Yes.
And then I prayed and I said, God, let me tell you something. I'm not a worker, I'm an asset. And I want you to show people that I am. Wow. So then it came back that they wanted to be a business partner with me.
Wow.
So I went to my money man. I'm going to tell y'all who he is because y'all might try to get him. And I said, look, we need to talk to you.
Yes.
And he was like, okay. So about $50,000 later, yeah, he and we didn't have to go through a bank.
Yes.
See
Wow.
how good that is?
Yes. So that private. Okay. I feel you. That's God right there. That's
When
God.
I tell you, I have to tell you the whole story. I won't tell them, everything. But the whole, you know, it was just a blessing. It just really fell in our laps because when she first went to talk to them, they said, no, we won't accept your offer.
Right.
They said, but we'll keep your information.
Right.
So she said, Monique said, don't worry.
It's gonna
They'll
happen.
be back. They'll be back. And they called her back.
Wow.
And she mostly handled everything.
Yes.
Because in my situation, I was just like, okay, I'll be that silent partner.
Yes.
Because I want you to be able to work with them. And I think they liked her a little better than me.
Right.
Because I'm a love. And when we...
But that's good, Paula. Know your place.
Know your place.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
But see... So the people of the world today out in West Palm Riviera Beach, I'm creating lies according to them. Yeah, so I just want them to know and
Clarify.
them to know that you don't have to be seen in order to be involved in everything. Because I don't care if I come in there, if you come in there and you don't know that I'm a
You
part
are so
owner,
humble.
but if I'm not, I don't care.
Yes.
It doesn't bother me.
Yes.
It doesn't bother me that we're both on the papers, but she can sign one paper, but I can't. It doesn't bother me.
You just want to do what you love.
I just want to do what I love.
Isn't that something?
And this business is amazing.
I know God is blessing.
It's such a blessing. When I tell you.
And now we could just walk in and get the donut.
Not really, wait a minute.
Okay, I'm confident.
So Thursday through Saturday, I gotta make some more. One lady came in there and bought every piece in the refrigerator. We had a refrigerator donated to us from Chandra Stringer.
Yes, yes.
And in that refrigerator, all during the week, I try to keep sweet potato pies and bread pudding.
Okay.
Because that's the staples. The people want one of those or pound cake.
That's what hooked me for life.
Yeah, I know.
Girl.
I eat too much of it.
Woo. I'll see. But that's so beautiful. So we can work together.
Yes.
We can collaborate.
We can, and that's why
and we can be successful together. I just want you to get you to co-sign that statement, please.
Yes.
Because I don't understand the mindset where we cannot get along or we got to try to pull each other down. Let's all go higher.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. I'm telling you, God is so good, and if people would just see how good He is to them and how He blesses them, even if it's that big. It don't have to be a big house and whatever, the Porsche or whatever. It can be something so small as a meal I'm able to eat today. You know?
And you know what? When God sees how we handle little,
yes,
He prepares us for much. And that's when your blessings reign. Because if you could be humble over these things, I know your mindset ready and your heart ready and your soul ready for greater. So you're not vain and arrogant and all of these things. I'm still saying, God, in spite of all things, you come first. And you will get all the glory. And they call me by platforms that God ain't in it. I can't be either.
No, that's what I tell them.
Don't look at the secular, the training. That's all fine and good, but can God be in it?
Gotta be.
Because He serves us in a spirit of excellence.
Yes.
When He wakes us up and He takes care of us, look how He manipulated behind the scenes. You didn't even have to do anything. What He did was set up that test for a testimony.
Come on.
But it's how we handle it.
Yep.
So let me say this to you. Because I saw a couple of posts recently and I prayed. I want you to not let forces inundate your praise.
Yes.
You praise God right on through that thing.
Amen.
And get ready for greater. Because one thing I know for sure is when God favors you, it's not
Oh.
one man or woman that can block that. Because God knows our heart.
Yes.
So let's put that energy in the right place. I said, Paula, I can feel it.
She always tells me.
I can feel it. But we not going to let, that's not what we're going to do.
No.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to rise butterfly.
Yeah.
So in closing, I want you to look in that camera and give your best pitch for that person who has not had a mammogram. They don't do self-checks. For somebody who has just not put this on their radar, what would you say to them?
Please go and have your annuals. If you do not know of where you can go, you can contact me. You can contact Gloria Coates. It's a few of us in the community that we have resources. And we're there, they're there to help you. Two of the foundations in this area, if anything comes about, they're there to help you as well. I always encourage people to check their pearls. I didn't wear my shirt today because I couldn't find one, and I left Gloria. But I have a shirt that says check your pearls. These are your pearls. They mean so much to you, and you really don't know until you have to lose them or let somebody poke on them and stick on them like they did me. But I encourage you because you do not want to go through it. I mean, whatever's going to happen to you is going to happen, but at the same time, if you're able to catch it before time, then it helps you a great deal. And
it does change the variable, especially for an aggressive cancer.
Mm-hmm.
The earlier you catch it, the better your chances are. That's just the reality.
Right.
And to understand that the way you go through this, because I'm going to emphasize this in closing, you went through this the right way. You were humane. You were human about it. But you made sure that you honored and you listened. Because you didn't have to listen to me when I showed up to your house. But that was God.
Yeah.
He was preparing you. And he was letting you know you will live. You will not die. This is not going to take you out. But what are you going to do with the blessing? You remember that. Because that part is not over. What are you going to do with the blessing? Love the way you survive. When I come through, I'm coming. Trying to keep, thank you for taking care of yourself, keeping yourself covered and everything. Let's be smart because we know that our immune systems are compromised and all of that. But butterflies rise and tigers roar. You deserved it, and many people felt that you deserved this. So take all the pleasantries, take everything with you, but most of all, you take God consistently.
Yes.
Thank you, darling.
Amen.